Hello everybody, this is Andrew Berkowski checking in again from the fish room. Today's video is going to be about my Characodon lateralis. These are the Los Berros location. And we're going to do a nice colony update because as you can see, we have babies. Alright, here's a male here. This species was described in 1866 by Albert Gunther when he was working at the British Museum, and the species was described originally from museum specimens. And this species actually has an interesting history, especially in terms of the study. When Seth Eugene Meek, the famed ichthyologist from the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago, I consider my home territory. When he went down and collected in Mexico between 1901 and 1903, he collected quite a few specimens of this species, but he referred to them as Characodon garmani, which, if you follow Goodeid classification, you know that Characodon garmani is known from a single specimen that was described by David Starr Jordan, who was actually Meek's mentor when Meek was at the University of Indiana. So it makes sense that he would follow his former teacher and identify the fish the same way. And here's a quick shot of the Meek specimens that I actually saw labeled as garmani when I went to the Field Museum back in February. The specific epithet for this, Characodon lateralis, refers to on the sides, which could be somewhat related due to that the patterning that you see on the females. Let's get a whole bunch of them to come out. They are somewhat omnivorous. I've seen quite a few green poops coming out of these guys, but they do love shrimp pellets. When I had talked with Michael Cook about the etymology of the genus Characodon, the best guess that we had was that it refers to the genus Charax, which is a type of tetra. So odontus referring to tooth, so it has maybe something to do with tetra teeth. You can see this is a beautiful fish. The males have that red, although I will say that the red varies to some degree with fish from this location. Los Berros actually refers to 3 different springs in that area. I'm not sure exactly which spring these guys are from, or if they're pure to that spring, but these are all referred to as Los Berros. And the dichromic coloration, you see the males have the red and the females are more golden with that patterning on the side. The dichromic colorations, it's sort of a character with most of the Goodeids. I really only have the one species, the Chapolictes and Costas, where the dichromic coloration is not that apparent. And I just love these guys. Originally, I started off with a group of 2 males and 4 females, and it has since grown. I've had these fish for a little over, that's closing in on 1.5 years now. And I think they are incredible. Beautiful creatures. Over here, this is my Characodon audax Los Pinos. And the reason why these guys are considered audax, at least by the GWG, is because there is a a geological barrier within the territory for these fish. There's a waterfall referred to as the Salto Falls, and these fish here are found above that waterfall, whereas all of my Los Berros, they are found below the waterfall. Although the 1986 description for Audax, which is the official published description, it only lists the El Toboso, which is the Black Prince. And here's one of my Black Prince males. This is the only true Audax per that description. This is the El Toboso, and it's the only Characodon that has all black in its fins and no red. And back to the Los Berros. This fish here, they'll max out about 2.5 inches, but that would be a really big one. They'll start breeding at around like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. Some other interesting factoids about them, being from the Tunal Durango River system in the state of Durango. And get them in focus. This is actually the furthest northwest species of Goodeid, actually of livebearing Goodeid, since the egg layers are actually found up in Nevada, quite a bit further north than than central Mexico. All the food is getting kicked up. It's making it a little bit difficult to focus, but I still think this is an incredible sight. The Characodons are all critically endangered. This is a Charis fish, although I don't have them registered. This has become one of my favorite tanks to watch, especially after all the babies were born. And hopefully this colony just keeps growing. So if you guys like what I'm doing, hit like and subscribe. I'll be sure to post more updates in the future. Hopefully we end up with a nice massive swarm of these and I can spread them between a few different tanks. As of yet, they all live in here. Yeah, there. There's just too many of them to focus on. I love it. If there's any other species you want me to check back in on, we could go over a little bit more of the history, how my colony's doing, all that stuff. Feel free to leave a comment. I try to get back to everybody that leaves one. So once again, this has been Andrew Burkowski. Thanks for coming to visit me in the fish room.